Hello everyone, welcome to Code Guides, and we'll see today the implementation part of the Python keyword identifier and comment. First of all, we'll mention the topic here, Python keyword identifier and comment. Now, keywords are, in summary, we can say keywords are reserved words in Python. Reserved words in Python. Next is the identifier, which are names used for variables. Used for names used for variables and function. And next we have the comment which are adding explanation part to the code. Explanation in code. Okay. Now with first we'll see with the keyword. What is a keyword? Okay. Now for the definition of keyword, they are the reserved word used in Python. So reserved word using Python by Python. And for example, we'll see if, else, for, while, def, and return. So these are the examples of the keyword. Now, first of all, we'll import keyword, and we'll see, we'll print the keyword, keyword dot kw. Okay. So we have false, none, true, and as, assert, await, break, continue, def, delete, ellipse, else, for, from, if, import, lambda, non-local, parse, raise, return. So multiple keywords are available. Now second, we'll see if we'll check if a keyword is a keyword or not. So for that, we check if a word is a keyword. Okay. So for that, we'll print keyword dot is keyword. I will mention the word. Suppose I'm mentioning S, so it will show true. So if is a keyword. Now we'll see another example. Print keyword or is keyword, and I will mention hello. So we'll see if this word is a keyword or not. So it is showing false. Now we'll see what is an identifier. So third one will be what is an identifier. Fire. Okay. Now for definition, identifier are names we give to variable or function. Okay. Now suppose uh, we have a variable my name. So this is an identifier my name. Suppose I have given here Bob. So my name is an identifier, and we have another variable named 4 which has value 78. So 4 will be also an identifier. Now suppose I will build a function named greet, and I will pass it. So greet is an identifier. So these are the ways or definition of an identifier. Basically, any name given to the variables or function is called as an identifier. Now, valid identifier example. Now, suppose next is valid identifier example. Okay. Suppose now I describe or define a variable name user age, which is 25. Okay. And another will be user name. Right. And I will suppose it give it Bob. I will print this, print user age, and user name. So these are the valid identifier examples. User age is an identifier. User name is an identifier. Now we'll see invalid identifier example. Invalid identifier example. Right. Now suppose I name a variable starting with number. Right. Suppose I start with number, and I will suppose I give example as John. Now what if I print this variable, which is to name? Okay. So what will be showing? Syntax error. It is invalid decimal neutral. So we cannot start identifier with a number here. Always remember that. And one more example we'll see for the invalid identifier example. That is, suppose I declare I define a variable user hyphen name. Okay. And suppose I mention here Rohit. And if I print the username, so it should show an error, which is the syntax error. We cannot use hyphen in the identifier. So remember how we can define identifier, and we'll see the different case sensitivity in identifier. Next will be case sensitivity in identifier. Now suppose I have a variable name and I will mention some value, string value as suppose Kapil. Okay. And I will mention another variable, capital N. First, in case I have used a small letter, and in second case, I have used a capital letter. Okay. Now, I will mention the same value. Okay. I will print these both variables. Name and name. They are showing the value, which are the different identifiers. If one is small letter and another is capital letter, they are treated as different identifiers. So these are case sensitive in identifier. Now, we'll see identifier naming rule. Seventh part is identifier naming rule. Okay. Now the first is it must start with a letter or underscore. Always remember this, guys. Must start with a letter or underscore. Now it can't be a Python keyword. Whatever the keywords have been mentioned here, this cannot be an identifier. I cannot use suppose else as a identifier or a variable name or except or far from global not far. So this thing you have to remember while naming the identifier. So can't here Python keyword, right? And the last is it should not have any special character and identifiers name, no special character like dollar or Python. So these are the rules you can say for naming the identifier. Now next is single line comment. Single line comment. So for single line comment, we are using hash symbol for this is a single line comment. And suppose after that I print hello. Okay. Now the interpreter will identify it as an comment and it will avoid it, and thus it will pass on to the, it will move on towards the print statement. So print and now the comments are used to what we can say is add explanation. Whenever a coding is done, we can add explanation, and that is the main purpose of a comment. Now we say within the single line comment, if we want to mention a comment in a single line, we can use hash, and we can also use the inline comment. Suppose next is inline comment. Okay. Now suppose I'll doing print hello. Okay. Print hello. How are you? Now what if I want to use comment in this line, in this specific line of code? So what I'll do, I'll just give some space and I'll use the hash symbol and I'll say this is a single line comment. Now whatever I will type after this hash symbol will be considered in this line, will be considered as a comment. So this is how single line or the inline comment works. Now we'll see the multi-line comment. Next is multi-line comment. Okay. Now we don't have any specific keyword or any symbol for using the multi-line comment. We use triple quote to define a multi-line comment. So I'll say this is a multi-line comment. Okay. And it is used for explaining complex code. Right. Now, as it is a multi-line comment, we'll see Python will basically consider this as a string. So that will be avoided and we will not get an error. So we'll say done with multi-line comment. Okay. So this is how Python interpreter consider multi-line comment within string, or it avoid and keeps the value as a string, and next of the part of the code is executed. So in this way we use the multi-line comment. Now we'll see how we could use docstring for functions. Okay. Now suppose next is docstring for function. So we'll define our function name add. We'll pass on two values a comma b as an input, and then I will here type this function add to number. Okay. We will then return a plus b. Okay. Now this comment which have been passed inside a function is considered as a docstring. So what if I print add and I will pass to number 4 comma 5. So we got the answer. This is docstring for function. Now we'll see how we could use help to view docstring. So for that, using help to view doctrine. So I'll type help and I will pass the function, this function add. Okay. So we can view here our comment path here on the doctrine. So this function add to number. This was the comment which we had passed, which is also called as doctrine. And so using help we can view doctrine. We just need to mention the function name here, which is the add for our case. Now we'll see how to avoid keywords as identifier. Next is avoid keyword as identifier. First of all, we cannot mention a variable or identifier by using the keyword. So if we see If I give name as def for a identifier, if I print def, what this will see? It shows a syntax error. But I can mention this identifier name as my def. Okay. And if I mention the value 5, same here and print my def, so it is showing the value. In this way, we should avoid keyword as an identifier. Now we'll see list all Python keywords. So next is list all Python keywords. So for that, I'll type print Python keyword. Okay, and then for word in keyword dot kw list. Okay, print word comma and equal to okay, it is keyword small plant. We have also seen this earlier, but didn't revise uh, keyword. And it should be a reminder for you guys that keyword should not be used as a identifier. Now we'll see commenting out code to debug. Okay. Next is commenting out code to debug. Now suppose I do print and say deep won't run, right? And I will print this will run. Now, as you can see, the part of the code which I have used that symbol has been turned into comment. And the next one, the next line of code, which is the print, this will run will be executed. Likewise, I can use hash symbol here for the last line of code, and I will remove the above one. So in this way, we could debug our code by commenting out. Always keep in mind while debugging, we generally use a comment. We treat a particular line of code as a comment. We can see this line of code, but still to see how this two different line work, we are commenting out a specific line of. Now we'll see next one, pinned one, add pseudo comment for future. Okay. Now we'll type hash. So after all this, it will treat as a comment pseudo add error handling here, and then I will print something. Suppose feature under development under development I will type. So in this case, we can also use sudo for commenting comment for future. Okay. I will see another example of invalid example uh, or invalid case for typing the name for an identifier. So commenting will be using space in identifier. Okay. First of all, suppose I define an identifier and I'll give some space here. We'll see what happens here. I'll say Tom. If I print the current name, we'll see what happens. So it is showing an invalid syntax error. So space should not be there between an identifier. We can include the underscore student name, that is the Tom, and then we can print the student, right? So you guys can practice this example by using different values, by saying different use of different keywords. And in this, we can say what we did. Summary, as in summary, we can see for keyword we saw that the reserved words like if else or the keyword cannot be used. In identifier names, we give to the variable functions that is called as an identifier. Then comment, which is used to add explanation to particular line of code. For single line comment, we can use the hash, and for the multi-line comment, we can use the triple quote. That's the summary for the whole examples we have seen here. And I hope you guys understood. So we'll see in the next session with the new topic. Till then, bye.